welcome back to Final Fantasy 1 Pixel Remaster. So, okay. I was told in comments last time that the War Mech, which, I thought for some reason appeared in the final dungeon, it's a very, very rare encounter that's basically the first super boss in the series, actually appears in Tiamat's floor of the Sky Fortress. I didn't know that, so I felt compelled to try and show it, but I just spent 40 minutes trying to get it to appear and no luck. It's apparently, I don't know, depending on things, it's either a 1 in 64 chance, or maybe even a 1 in 100 chance. So, I've seen reports online of people spending 2 to 3 hours trying to get it to appear, so I think, I don't know, I'm just gonna give up on that for now. I've made a quick save there, I can come back to it later if I want to, but anyway, I thought I'd do a bit of pre-final battle cleanup here. The first is to give the adamantite to the smithy. Unfortunately, I got spoiled on exactly what you get out of this. This sword does appear in quite a few FF games. I know that in 12 it's Holy Element, which is pretty useful. Oh, it has even an achievement linked to it. Not that hard to get, though. Okay, yeah, that's a pretty big increase. Effective against all types of enemies, really? I don't know if that's, like, true, or if that's just, like, flavor. Like again, like, what I mean by that is I don't know if that's just a flavor description, or if it means, like, that it actually does give an effectiveness bonus against all enemies, because that would be kind of insane if it did. Now, I just want to check something. Was that indeed the... Yes, that actually counts as the item from Mount Duragar. Okay, then. But yeah, that's yet another reason why... Actually, hang on a minute. I want to check something. Yeah, it's... Wow, it's only knights. It makes sense, but, like, again, it's yet another reason why the game is very, very biased towards you having a warrior in the party. I really want to show how much damage it does against these things. And yeah, there's actually a unique blocking animation for blocking with the Protect Cape, because it's, oh, it actually gets out-damaged by Monk. Okay, then. The ultimate weapon in the world, still weaker than a monk's bare fist. That actually reminds me of, Heihachi, yeah, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but, from, in Soul Calibur 2, his ultimate weapon was just called Tekken, and it's just his bare fists. Which I thought I also thought was kind of funny. But, yeah, Excalibur's been in a few Final Fantasy games, but, like, yeah, it does seem like this game is very biased towards you having a warrior, because they seem to be the only ones you can use the ultimate weapon. Now, the reason why I'm in Melmond is... Something about the knight that I did not even notice until now is that when I was saying at one point, oh, in some Final Fantasy games they have access to limited white magic. Well, this is one of those games. Knights can actually use white magic. That's all 5th level white magic, so I have no use for this shop. I think I have to go all the way back to Elfheim to even get 3rd level. Oh, he can't even use heal. It's only certain types of 3rd level, okay. Well, I mean, I can get Null Blaze. And Cura, I guess. Not that it's really gonna help much. I don't think it's gonna out-heal potions for him. Oh. Yeah, because, like, these guys were saying, like, when the time is right, the future is revealed to me. It does seem like they actually changed their dialogue. Oh, those are level 4 spells. I may be able to get Null Shock or something. Dispel Holy Full Life. Just the thing about Null All is it only targets one character at a time. So putting it on the whole party is going to be very, very difficult. However, is it going to be more useful than Dispel to me? I often find that bosses die before they get a chance to make full use of their buff. So I think I'm just going to go with that over Dispel here. And now, it is finally time to go to the Chaos Shrine and open all of those doors that I couldn't open before because I didn't have the magical key. Yeah, this is the one place that I actually didn't use the magical, like, that I left alone in my giant mystical key backtracking session, and only because I knew that we'd be back here later eventually, but, yeah, why not? Oh, hey, free potion. So this is the same music that played inside the water shrine. Oh, I can see an orb there. Okay, there's 2 rooms in here that I need the mystical key to open. This music is really, really amazing. Yeah, it's called the... it's just called Chaos Shrine. There's a pretty dramatic, more sort of battle-style remix of this that I think is DLC in Dissidia, but once you purchase it, I think it kind of becomes Garland and the Warrior of Light's de facto theme in that game. And yeah, that sounds really good. Look up that remix if you haven't. But, okay. Runeblade. Yeah, people did tell me that I missed this. Effective against spellcasters. So that's probably what the mage and magic enemy types are in the bestiary. Although I'm assuming that it's only effective against mage, not magic. Again, Lich is both. I'm assuming it's because, you know, he's both a spellcaster and a magical creature. Werebuster. Isn't the Werebuster's in Secret of Mana, isn't it? I think it is. It's an axe in that game, though, so I don't know if it's an axe here. No, it isn't. Okay. Effective against beasts. Yeah, now I'm kind of wishing that I went back here during the backtracking session, because those would have been a lot more useful earlier in the game. But yeah, not really all that great now. And yeah, we do have a lot of items that cast things like Fyra and Thundara and things like that now. Apparently, if you've got one of those equipped, only the one who has it equipped can cast spell. Oh, the bats, that's just making me think. Oh boy, we're not gonna have to go across the entire world just to talk to all of the previous 5 warriors who are now bats, are we? Oh, okay. Alright, there's 5 of them in here. I'm guessing that these are, in fact, the 5 that got turned into bats. Oh, okay, so we're gonna just head straight to the Chaos Shrine of the Past, then. The Black Crystal. I wonder if the Black Materia in FF7 is a reference to that. I don't really know, like, much about the Black Materia plotline, other than, like, memes about Cloud just going, ha ha ha, Black Materia, ha ha ha, Meteor. And I have no context for that scene whatsoever, so, yeah. Yes, time loops, because, yeah, Final Fantasy was always really out there with its plots, even from the beginning. There's 5 of them, though. I keep thinking, like, you know, unless, like, if it's a time loop story, you think that they're supposed to be you from another loop, but there's 5 of them, so who would the 5th one be? Oh, okay. Are they telling us that that's our last chance to back out now? Yeah. Oh, well, nope, we just took that step forward in a cutscene of our own accord. Okay, there is different music for this version of the Chaos Shrine. Good to know. So this is, I'm assuming, our final dungeon. And, okay, there's 2... It's a bit of a remix, though. There's 2 stairs down and 2 stairs... Okay, I have an idea of what we've got going on here, okay? This is just my theory, but my theory is... I have been vaguely spoiled on the fact that there are rematches with the 4 themes. And... let me just try something. Do I have any... I guess I can use the major stuff. But, I'm wondering if we actually need to go to all of the corners, and in each of the corners of the map, it's going to lead to a gauntlet that ends with a Fiend rematch, and we have to defeat all of the Fiend rematches before we're allowed to proceed to the very end of this shrine. That's just my theory. I don't know if it'll be true, but we'll see. Currently, it's just the same kinds of enemies that we've been fighting before. I know that White Dragon is a very, very late game enemy in, there's another staircase there, in Fire Emblem, I was about to call it Echoes, but no, in Gaiden. I don't know if they're still called White Dragons in Echoes. Okay, we have not seen the stone golems before. Speaking of which, though, so these golems, when I was looking for the war mech for 40 minutes, there is an encounter on Tiamat's floor that's 5 to 6 mind flayers and 2 clay golems, and it's an incredibly brutal encounter because the clay golems can cast haste on the mind flayers and themselves, and the mind flayers can just instant death you, they can cast mind blast and stun you. It's just an annoying encounter. It's relatively rare of an encounter, but it's still, yeah, this does just make me wonder if these things are very resistant to magic, or all the items have, like, their own fixed power on spellcasting that doesn't take into account the caster's stats, or at least not to the same extent that, they usually do. Okay, so there's nothing else in this room, barring, I'm assuming, okay, okay, there's nothing there. Interesting. Because I think I remember reading somewhere that, oh, by the way, I know these things are weak to fire now, so, this major staff's gonna kind of come in handy, but, I remember reading somewhere that the Fiend rematches in the original were fixed encounter tiles, which meant that you could repeat them over and over by just stepping, back and forth on the tiles where they appear. So that was interesting when it comes to grinding potential. Wow, you guys are very, very physically resilient. But I have free spellcast via the, Mage's Staff. It actually looks like a good portion of this place is walled off to me, apart from the bottom 2 stairs. I only just realized that. Yeah, TL has almost 50 intellect, and he's still not doing a whole lot of damage with the staff against a lot of enemies, except these things. Well, that time they took good damage from physical. That was kind of weird. Cetro's pretty close to a level up, too. Okay, nope. Almost there, almost made it. Yeah, the encounters here are roughly the same as they were in, the the Flying Fortress. With the addition of, like, a couple of enemies from even as far back as the Ice Dungeon. Chaos Shrine, 2nd floor. Right, there's nothing in here yet. 3rd floor, okay. This is a pretty big looking area. With a single door in the middle. I wonder what will be in there. Yeah, a lot of these floors are probably, like, the bite is taken out of them a little bit by the fact that you have a map. Okay, that's a lot of Black Knights, but I think it was the Death Knights that could cast really dangerous spells, so I'm not too scared about this. And I think Death Knights are a thing in D&D, or the Death Knight, I don't know. I know there's like one who was part of Vecna's lore in a lot of versions of the game. These single torches in the middle of rooms make me suspicious. Okay, so apparently when I was in the Ice Cave, I got the easy way out when it came to Dark Wizards, because they can use some very, very dangerous spells from what I've heard. Like, for that point in the game, like they can use things like Fire Arga, which at that point hurts a lot, and they can sort of double up on their cast. Apparently in the original version of the game, enemies would also, doesn't seem like I can examine that, enemies would also have, like, fixed spellcasting orders. Okay, well that wasn't the encounter that I was thinking I would get. Yeah, I sort of noticed this when it came to fighting the Dark. Yep, there we go, there's Firaga. Not quite as dangerous as it used to be, and we have a lot of armor that lets us resist that too. But when I was fighting the Dark Fighters in the Sky Fortress when trying to find the War Mech, Death Eye, okay, yeah, I believe this thing was called Desu Beholder in Japanese. I kind of like the color scheme on it, though. I had a feeling we'd die in one hit, though. And to be fair, like, getting stabbed in the eye with a legendary sword would probably not make you last for very long. But, yeah, what I was saying about these things is that the Dark Fighters use a lot of support spells, and it feels like they were designed to complement Dark Wizards or, you know, other enemies, but they usually show up on their own in the Sky Fortress, which is really strange. Okay, Elixir's nice, though. What's going on? Plot twist, Cetra was actually a multi-class bard the whole time! Yeah, looks like you need the loot to progress here. That must be a point where, in the original at least, if you forgot to talk to the princess before leaving that room, you would get stuck. Actually, wait, there's so many Death Knights, I'm not going to auto-battle through this. I'm going to actually try and cast a spell here. Hopefully. 12 hits, nice. That one Death Knight is deserting his post, and he's going to get fired or worse later. Let's just blizzard you all. Oh, hey, they survived. I'm going to need to heal you soon. I was going to say, like, maybe I can have Cetro cast some of his healing magic, and then I realized it's not going to do much, and he only has 4 casts of each level, so... And then I'll probably be using some, like, ethers and elixirs later. I guess we can see. How much do you do with Cura to Noah? Huh, that's actually not bad. That's like 100 or so. I mean, I have billions of high potions, which do 150, but in the middle of a battle, maybe, I don't know. Or if I want to conserve items. Like I was saying, that's actually not that bad. Oh, okay, so now we can go down here. There's stairs down there. Okay. Don't know if there's anything of significance inside these rooms. I'll go with the standard order here. Yeah, I wonder if I got a crit earlier against these things, because I did 7 hits there, and they still, Yes, I did 7 hits, like, the first time, and I did, like, 2-digit damage. Then I did 7 hits, and I did 3-digit damage, so maybe that was a crit? Because, yeah, it seems like crits do exist in this game, it's just that they aren't marked as crits when they happen, which is honestly a little bit annoying. Did we fight Ice Giasses before? I don't know. I get the feeling we actually haven't, but, yeah, let's see you pull off. I guess you can go for Firaga here. I've probably got plenty of ethers right now. Yeah, I had a feeling at least one of you was going to use Ice Storm, but yeah, it's still not a lot of damage at this point. I get the feeling that if there was a freeze status in this game, these things would be a lot more dangerous, because they'd probably be freezing you very often. I'm kind of referring more to the Gigasses than the... Oh, of course, by the time Firaga goes off, there's only one thing left. But, yeah, the wolves are... I like the idea of ice wolves. They just don't really seem all that dangerous in this game. Now, I wonder if this is actually going to take me back to the first floor. Yes, it is. Okay, but now we're on the other side of these barriers, and now we can access that downstairs. Okay, that's good to know. So, right, I was kind of wrong about my prediction of this place's level design at first. But yeah, inconsistency in turn order, that actually does kind of make the Black Mage a lot worse than he should be, because the main advantage of Black Mage seems to be just access to complete field nuke skills, and as you've seen many times, they're just not that useful when you don't get them off until the rest of your party has already eliminated most of the enemies. So, yeah. I mean, given that black mages are kind of absurdly broken in some of the other Final Fantasy games, I mean, it's somewhat refreshing that they're not amazing in this game, but it does seem like red mages are genuinely pretty good because they can use both, they can use a lot of weapons as well as spells. So, even though their spells don't go as high, they have a lot more utility, like standard utility value when, that's new, but Purple Worm is a classic D&D monster. If this was D&D, that thing probably would have swallowed us. But yeah, you get the idea. Like, they have a little bit more, like, general combat ability outside of spellcasting, and that can be useful, especially with the original spellcast system. So, at this point, I'm kind of hoping that stronger enemies start showing up, but, well, that's actually not a bad set of enemies. In fact, I'm going to try and drop a Holy on this group, and you'll try and drop a Fire Arga if you can get that in. I'm going to try Quake as well, maybe. Because I feel like very big floors like this, without a lot of, like, chests or optional areas to explore. Well, I mean, there are optional areas to explore, they're just not worth it because they don't contain anything. But, like, I feel like floors like that, they're, like, the main danger of floors like that. Like, you'd think that you would capitalize on that by having some difficult random encounters. So that, you know, when players are having to, like, because you spend a long time having to traverse the floor, so therefore, you get more random encounters. So it only makes it fitting that, you know, this being the final dungeon, I'm pretty positive this is the final dungeon, but, this being the final dungeon, you know, they'd pull out all the stops and making things difficult. So, I mean, this game hasn't ever really been particularly difficult, but, like, you get the idea. As far as a final dungeon challenge, you'd think that you'd put some dangerous random encounters in an area that forces a lot of random encounters, by virtue of just being really big. And yeah, speaking of, like, I'm okay with random encounters in this game, given that it is, like, one of the first JRPGs, but I'm kinda glad that most modern games are moving away from random encounters. I don't think we've seen actual basilisks before. We've seen enemies of this sprite before, but we haven't seen actual basilisks, and that worries me because I get the feeling that, I mean, I feel like, though, with all of our ribbons, though, we're probably pretty immune to petrification right now. Although, according to comments, I've got all of the ribbons that are in the game at this point, so it seems like there are only 3. So you can't make your entire party permanently immune to status. Let's see what's in... I would see what's in there if they'd let me. The miss sound played twice there for some... I guess it was used as a sound effect for the cloak first. What do we got in here? We have probably nothing, but I want to check just in case. Yep. Yeah, it honestly, like, it must have sucked for people playing the original to go all the way, like, through this part of the final dungeon and then only realize, oh wait, I need the princess's loot to progress. But that's why you talk to everyone. So I suppose while we're going through here, I can just kind of give my... I've kind of given a lot of my thoughts on that before, but it's just... Honestly, it's actually really refreshing to me how kind of puzzle-based this game is, in a sense. And, like, it's not, like, really complex or anything, but the whole structure of, you need to go to this place to get this item to give to this NPC, and you do have to remember a lot of things that you've been told, and, I do, like, really like that. It's just, and again, I only had to look at a guide once, so you don't actually get lost all that much in this game. I believe you are Lich. Yep, no speech at all this time. Okay, let's see if you're any tougher than you were before, or if you're going to go down even harder, because I now know to unequip my monk's weapons. Right, Giant's Gloves on Cetro. Holy. I now know that you're weak to fire, but I'm probably better served hasting somebody, like, you. If only there was an item that casts haste, that would be really great, but, doesn't seem like I have one. Apparently in the GBA version, multiple casts of Temper and Saber do stack with themselves and with each other, I think, so yeah. Okay, so he is double buffed. I think I'm just going to go for Diaga, though. And also, speaking of haste, so The ninja getting limited black magic is a lot more useful than the knight getting limited white magic, because said limited black magic includes haste and temper, and that's pretty much all they need. It also makes them amazing support as well as damage. Holy, okay, that's pretty good. In fact, I'm going to be holding off on using spells for the rest of this fight, because I have a good feeling you're almost dead. No, not yet. There you go, okay. So really not that bad. I believe that the Fiend rematches do use some pretty dangerous spells, so getting rid of them quickly is probably a good thing. But I am kind of a little concerned about using up too much of my magic, especially since we probably won't get like a magic recharge before Chaos. Yep, Marlith is there, and it looks like, whoa, this is an interestingly designed floor. This part of the song's cool, though. So, okay, so we can't directly get there. Okay, how do we get through this floor? Fire lizards, really? These things were back in the volcano dungeon, weren't they? So it doesn't look like we can get through that way. There may be a slight gap in the pillars up the... Oh no, there's a door. There's a door up the top. Right. Almost got lost here. Like, I don't know if these are higher level fire elementals at all, or if they are the exact same enemies. The original probably only had one coded set of stats for each enemy. It's actually one thing that I think is cool about Pokemon as far as JRPGs go, is that, like, you can, like, have the same Pokemon species and have it show up at a higher level, or in the hands of a trainer that has it at a higher level, and yeah, like, they can kind of scale that way. Whereas in a lot of other RPGs, random encounters, it's just sort of a one-and-done kind of deal, where it's like, you know, every fire lizard is effectively exactly the same. I found in the bestiary that goblins have even less than 10 HP. I think they have like 8 or something. Just, you know, on the subject of random encounters and stuff. Okay, then we can get out there. I see what they want us to do here. In fact, if I do that, then I can actually go straight to Marl if I wanted to. However, I may actually want to explore around this floor a little bit. And speaking of that whole, oh yeah, like, you know, every encounter, like, you know, has like the same level and stuff, like every sort of goblin is sort of the same and stuff. Sometimes they have stronger versions of enemies, like, for example, the Fiends, but they probably have them coded as completely separate enemies, so, like, this is, like, Lich 2 and Marlith 2. I think that's probably how they were coded in the original game, and they have a lot stronger spells. And they probably have higher stats as well. I mean, they're still not really much of a match for us at this point, but, yeah, I want to see what's down here before I fight Marlith, though. More fire lizards. So it looks like this is a bit of a maze. Yeah, there are some chests. And tablets. I wonder if these are going to be ambushes, though. Oh, another Protect Cloak. That's cool. So, more defense for my mages, then. I like the idea of that item, though. Just a cloak that works as a shield, and it's like one of the only pieces, like the only shield that mages can equip, and it like goes over the rest of your armor. I get the feeling that there has been something like that in the game that I've played, like an armor that works uniquely that way, and it can be worn over other types of armor. Okay, just a quick top up with potions there. Now let's get attacked by fire elementals. I do kind of wish that either other classes got ultimate weapons, or that Excalibur was usable by everyone. Okay, no monsters. That's a surprise. Because it just feels kind of unfair that only the warrior gets the best weapon. Well, okay, I'll correct myself. Only the warrior and the monk get the best weapons, because the monk's body is their best weapon. The monk is the best weapon. I wonder if monks in this universe get the crazy ability that, the crazy timeless body ability from actual D&D that monks get, where they don't age. Well, I mean, they kinda, I think it's like every 10 years, their body only ages 1 year or something. I mean, most D&D campaigns don't cover a long enough period of time where that would actually start really having real lore implications for the character, but it's still kind of a... And they, and I believe paladins, also gain complete immunity to disease, which is something that I would love to have in real life, but, yeah. Okay, another protect ring. Those do make you immune to instant death, which... Okay, most people already have one. Oh, that actually raises your defense. Oh, I suppose I can give that to you for instant death protection. This does sadly make null death a waste of a spell slot now. But I couldn't have really foreseen that we get another protect ring here. And I kind of forgot that everyone already had, well, most of us already had them. In fact, that explains why. So when I was trying to find the war mech, I got attacked by those mind flares a lot, and every single time, Duncan would just die, like most of the time. And now I know it's because he didn't have the protect ring. He was the only one of us without a protect ring. I mean, having a little bit more intellect on Cetro does kind of help for his curing, sort of. Okay, that was a really big hit from these things. I'm sure that we fought Red Dragons before and they weren't nearly this bad. Okay, another level up. Only 28 strength on Duncan, and yet, yeah, he still hits stupidly hard because monks. Like, there's something that there's a way I could describe that, but, oh look, another Sasuke's blade that I can't use. A way I could describe that from Critical Role that I can't say here because it's too, yeah, extreme in terms of language. You get 2 Sasuke's blades, though. That's not useful unless you have 2 thieves. And giving yourself 2 thieves is kind of asking for trouble in the early game. It's probably decent in the late game, but, yeah, because the thief is kind of like the S-class, from what it seems like. They sort of suck early on, but once they become ninjas, they're actually really good. So I now know that Marlith has no weaknesses. What I'm going to do here is, I'm going to have you... I guess you can Null Blaze the party, even though I already have some fire resistances. Oh, I guess for Terra, Marlith does use a few physical attacks, and you are going to haste Duncan while Duncan uses the Giant's gloves. So I'm going to let Duncan have the buffs this time. At least I'll let him start out with them. No, it's the first time we're seeing the Knight casting. Oh, it looks like we're already resistant to fire, then. Yeah, the Null spell's missing if you are already resistant to that status is kind of a weird way to depict that, but I suppose it makes sense. And, okay, I do need to make sure that I don't run out of hastes. Yeah, I only got 1 haste left. I will need those. I'm going to have to probably use some ethers. Yeah. And if I'm going to use ethers, I may as well start spamming my other spells. How much does that do? Oh, quite a lot. 24 hits. Okay, then. That's pretty crazy. Okay, I have Heal Aura. Let's go ahead and use that. And I'll drop another flare, I think. Even though she's probably going to go down quickly. Yeah, there she goes. Okay, I didn't even need to get that other flare or healing. And flare, by the way, was called nuke in the NES translation, so saying die or kill is bad, but nuclear weapons are okay. Still kind of a weird double standard to me, but anyway, I think now that we've fought 2 of the fiends, I'm gonna call this, and we will fight the next 2 fiends and go through the rest of the Chaos Shrine of the past next time.